Man, that was a good movie. What up, guys? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. And thanks for coming back for some more popcorns. Real quick, if you haven't done so already, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the like button. Well, after a long weekend of doing Batman-oriented stuff, I decided to top off the weekend with watching Fresh on Hulu. And man, was it appetizing. It's directed by an up-and-comer Mimi Cave. It's actually produced by Adam McKay, starring Sebastian'S and Daisy Edgar-Jones, who I had never heard of before this, but now I'm a huge fan. And it has a pretty small cast. It pretty much just focuses on Sebastian'S and Daisy Edgar-Jones. Has a couple other people in there, like her good friend is played by Jonica T. Gibbs, and there's literally a handful of other people in it. But I tell you what, I have been in the mood and in the need for a nice original / familiar style movie to it, because this movie was awesome. It felt familiar, but it was also very original all at the same time. It had vibes of American Psycho, but at moments it also had vibes of The Shining kind of, because it was very hypnotic. It was mesmerizing. Also reminded me a little bit of that show Hannibal. If you've ever seen the show Hannibal that was on TV, I think it was on NBC. Badass show, by the way. So look, first off, one of the coolest things I'd ever seen, and I didn't realize it was happening while I was watching it, is the opening scene. Up until now, the longest opening scene I'd ever seen for a movie was Friday the 13th, the remake that was in 2009. That one was like 28 minutes long or something like that. Maybe 24. Anyways, it was like in the 20s before you actually saw the opening titles of Friday the 13th. This movie does the opening titles after like 34 minutes. And it was awesome. Like the way it all went down, you'll be surprised when you watch it because you just won't see it coming. And man, it really just starts off like this love story, and all of a sudden, before you know it, because you've been really invested on what you've been watching, it just snaps into this horror movie, completely switches gears, and it really throws you for a loop, and it's really cool. Now, you kind of saw some of that coming when you were watching the trailer. Even with the way the trailer kind of gives a lot of stuff away, this movie still has some twists left to be had in it. I'm not gonna talk about anything that you don't automatically think after watching the trailer already. But I tell you what, it does switch from being a kind of a love story to just becoming frightening in seconds, and I loved that. And the whole premise of this and what's going on, you actually find out pretty much from the beginning. Even with that opening scene being so long, you actually still do find out what I'm about to tell you pretty much once the story takes its shape and you realize what this movie is about. So what I'm telling you is not a twist. I have to talk about this to review the movie because that's not what this movie's about, even though it is. But Sebastian'S character is basically this doctor who seduces women and then kidnaps them so he can sell their meat. But he does it while keeping them alive.
I'm gonna tell you, but you're gonna freak out.
No, this isn't happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
And like I said, if you've seen the trailer, you kind of are thinking that a little bit. I think the trailer leads you to think maybe it's more about cannibalism, but really the real thing that you find out in the beginning of what it's about is he's selling these people's meat. Now, there are some twists that come out throughout this movie that I don't want to give away that are really awesome, and to me, that's what makes the movie intriguing. It's really tense and like really engaging, while also being like really chill all at the same time. Like I've never seen a movie do that before. I was very impressed. It's hypnotizing, it's mesmerizing at the same time while being really funny in moments. Sebastian'S is great. I love his performance, but Daisy Edgar-Jones does a badass job too. Like I said, I'm a fan of hers now.
Pretty much done, actually, thank you.
If it's cool, I'm just gonna snag these leftovers.
It has a great soundtrack, and I don't mean like the score, I mean like the songs that are in it, all the way from songs that are awesome from the 80s to the 90s. I mean, it's really good. And the way they fit those songs into what's happening with the movie, it's really awesome. You'll find yourself singing along to multiple songs in this. So it's slightly a love story, it's hypnotic, it's funny, but it also is brutal. The brutality of it does catch you off guard a little bit because a lot of it you are thinking about what's going on, but once you like see some actual events happen towards the end, man, it gets brutal and awesome. I loved this movie. I totally recommend it. I give Fresh with Sebastian'S and Daisy Edgar-Jones an A. If you have Hulu, check it out tonight. I promise, even after everything I've just told you in this review, you still will be surprised when you find out what the movie's really about. Well, that'll do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and make sure you keep your eyes out still for the short film my partner and Andrew and I are working on, Late Court. Trailer's on here in the channel. And check out the link to the GoFundMe if you want to contribute. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns.